More than 3,000 bills and joint resolutions have been filed for the first session of the 59th Legislature that begins on February 6th. Only a fraction of those bills will actually become law, but it's worth taking an early look at what's on the table. And for that, we turn to Quorum Call publisher Shawn Ashley.
Shawn Ashley, let's start in the Senate, where a total of 1,116 bills and 18 Senate joint resolutions have been filed. So what stands out to you?
That's a good question. What's not there? Senate President Pro Tem Greg Treat did not file a school choice or voucher bill like some had expected that he would. He had the one in the 2022 regular session that failed to win approval. But there were two school choice measures filed in the Senate. Senate Bill 822 by Senator Julie Daniels that would allow parents to use a portion of their child's state education dollars to pay for other educational services, including private school tuition. And Senate Bill 943 by Senator Shane Jett, which would allow state funds to be used for private school tuition and expenses in counties with populations of more than 10,000 and in those smaller counties when certain triggers are met at local public schools.
So as we expected, vouchers and school choice going to be a big part of this session. But how about those House numbers? 1,900 bills and 44 joint resolutions. What got your attention there?
This year's House bill filings were particularly interesting because more than one half of those bills filed, more than 1,000, are what are called shell bills. These are bills that have no substantive language. A bill may say, for example, that it creates the Income Tax Act of 2023, but that's all it says. It doesn't have any language that says whether it's increasing or decreasing income taxes or the standard deduction or anything else. And in the end, it's rare that a bill that was filed as a shell and gets language put in it ever makes it to the governor's desk.
Shawn, also in the House this week, budget request hearings for the major agencies. Who wants what?
Some agencies are requesting no additional funds, and those that are requesting additional funding are usually doing so for specific programs or projects, many which were required by the legislature. One request that is becoming more consistent is money for state employee pay raises. Most state agencies have seen only modest increases in their appropriations in recent years, usually again for those specific programs. So agencies have not had a lot of money in which to give employee pay increases.
I like the sound of that. Raises for everybody, in my view. Any early indication on how the state administration is going to interact with its Republican majority? Are they in sync, or are they going to be having divergent paths?
There are issues for lawmakers and Governor Stitt still to work out, like school choice or vouchers and inflation or tax relief. They have yet to get together on the same pages on those issues in the past year. Now, we have seen Governor Stitt endorse some of the ideas behind a few of the bills that have been filed, but not necessarily the specific bills, such as sports betting, for example. I will say Governor Stitt has been good during his past couple of State of the State addresses of pointing out particular bills he supports. I expect we'll hear that again February 6th when he delivers his fifth State of the State address.
Having said that, if you had to guess, what do you believe is the first major legislation or bill that's going to wind up on the governor's desk to be signed?
State Election Board Secretary Paul Zirix is telling budget writers that he needs $850,000 to conduct the statewide election March 7th regarding the legalization of recreational marijuana. That election was not on the calendar when he asked for and lawmakers approved the state election board's budget for the current fiscal year. Governor Stitt set that election back in October. Now, Zirix told me earlier this month, I am highly confident, based on conversations with legislative leadership and the governor's representatives, that we will have sufficient funds to run the March 7th election. But he pointed out in a budget hearing that he needs that appropriation to come in February so that he will be ready to go on March 7th. So that should be the first bill of the session.
Shawn Ashley, publisher of Quorum Call, session just around the corner. I know you're going to be busy.
That's right. We look forward to it.